Hundreds of years ago, humans used up all of Earth's natural resources. This caused society to fall into chaos and war. The smartest scientists in the world took on the job of saving what was left of civilization. They created genetically modified orchids, which became the new source of energy. But people kept fighting because of their differences. To fix this, the scientists invented the transformation. When people turn 16, they undergo an operation that transforms them into their perfect selves. Those who go through this procedure are called pretties, and because they are perfect and happy living in the city, there are no more conflicts. Those who haven't had the procedure yet are called uglies and live in Uglyville dorms. Tally can't wait to become a pretty. She often uses an app on her mirror to see what she will look like after the procedure. Her best friend is Paris, and since childhood, they have called each other Nose and Squint. Sometimes during curfew, they sneak out to a bridge and wear special glasses to watch the pretties partying in the city. Tally is turning 16 in 3 months, but Paris is older and will have his operation tomorrow. They both have matching scars on their hands and promise not to let the doctors erase these scars when they become pretties. At that moment, a patrol drone flies by, so they quickly run back to their dorms. The next day in assembly, Tally overhears other students talking about the Smoke, a secret place outside the city led by a guy named David. People say many escape to hide there, but most students think it's not real. Just then, a hologram of Governor Cable appears, giving a speech about how important it is to be pretty and perfect. All of those who turned 16 are called up, and Tally says goodbye to Paris, telling him to meet her at the bridge in 1 month. In the evening, Tally watches the fireworks above the city and remembers the day she first met Paris. Her parents had just dropped her off at the dorm, and Paris was behind her in line. They traded nicknames and hit it off, quickly becoming best friends. One day, Paris accidentally cut his hand while reaching for a tablet from Tally, and she got the same scar when they promised to stay friends forever. Days pass, and Tally sticks to her routine of attending classes and looking in the mirror. She often checks her interface ring but sees no messages from Paris. After a month, Tally uses her ring to hack her window open, so she can leave because it has a tracker. She sneaks out and makes it to the bridge, but Paris hasn't shown up. Worried, she climbs up onto the bridge and moves beneath it until she's back in the city. She sneaks around behind some plants, but when a partygoer drops a mask, Tally grabs it and puts it on. The mask creates a hologram of a fancy dress on her body, allowing her to enter the party. She is amazed by all the decorations. Eventually, she finds Paris, who looks very different and doesn't recognize her. Tally removes the mask and asks why he didn't come to the bridge. Paris explains that things are different now, and he doesn't know how to relate to her anymore. Tally can't believe what she's hearing and realizes how much he has changed when she sees that his scar is gone. Just then, the security system detects her, and Tally must run away from the guards. She gets stuck on a balcony, steals a bungee jacket, and jumps. The fall is long, but the jacket lets her bounce and land gently nearby. Then Tally climbs back under the bridge to escape the city. When she accidentally kicks a stone into the water, a drone finds her and approaches to arrest her. Suddenly, her classmate Shay appears and makes Tally get on her hoverboard so they can fly away. The drone tries to follow them, but Shay drives fast and loses it by making many turns in the woods. To thank Shay for helping her, Tally breaks into the kitchen and steals some snacks. The girls bond over their experiences and how hard it is to be left behind when all their friends turn 16 first. They discover they share the same birthday and are excited to have a friend to become pretties with. The next day, Shay brings a second hoverboard and tries to teach Tally how to use it, but Tally falls immediately. At school, Tally is shocked to see some girls return a book to Shay, something that hasn't happened in a while. The girls are impressed by the book's description of surviving in nature and wonder if that's what the Smoke is like. Tally borrows the book while the girls call her cool for her stunt last night, which makes her angry because she realizes Shay told everyone. She fears they might punish her by denying her the operation, but Shay reassures her that the system wants everyone to be a pretty. As days pass, Tally reads the book, but she still dreams about the operation. Shay continues teaching her how to use the hoverboard, and in return, Tally hacks using her ring to get them extra food. Tally shows Shay her pretty designs on the app, but Shay doesn't have an account and isn't excited about the operation at all. Eventually, Tally learns how to ride well, and the girls use their hoverboards to jump ramps for fun. When Tally gives Shay the book back, Shay mentions it wouldn't be so bad not to get the operation, but Tally thinks that's a crazy idea. Suddenly, Shay mentions the Smoke and takes Tally to the edge of the woods. They leave their rings on some branches and ride their hoverboards across the river. Eventually, they reach ruins of an old city, and Shay tells Tally about ancient objects like roller coasters. Then Shay takes Tally into an abandoned building and reveals that the Smoke is real and that David will be arriving soon. Shay refuses to get the surgery and plans to leave tonight, asking Tally to come with her. However, Tally declines, saying she doesn't want to be free, she wants to be pretty. Upset, Shay gives Tally directions to reach the smoke if she ever changes her mind and hugs her before leaving on her hoverboard, following a sign of David's fire in another building. The next day is Tally's birthday, so she goes to the clinic for her surgery. However, they call everyone except for her, and a guard takes her away in a flying aircraft to see Dr. Cable, who explains that Shay is missing. Tally insists she doesn't know anything, but Dr. Cable can see her vitals on a screen and knows she is lying. Cable tells Tally that Shay is in danger because David brainwashed her. He is known for holding people against their will. When Tally continues to deny knowing anything, Cable sends her back to her dorm without giving her the surgery. That night, Tally hears a noise and is surprised to see Paris appear at her window. Tally tells him what happened, and Paris thinks she should tell Cable what she knows so they can be together. The next day, Tally is taken to see Cable again. Cable says David is developing a weapon to attack the city and needs Tally to infiltrate the smoke. Tally agrees to help, and Cable promises that if she is successful, she will get the surgery. She also gives Tally a necklace that flashes in her eyes, which she must turn on when she finds the weapon's location. Afterwards, Tally follows Shay's directions and rides her hoverboard along an old roller coaster for a few miles. Eventually, she finds a gap, falls into the woods, and is caught by a force field. There, she discovers abandoned train tracks that she must follow to find the smoke. For the next few days, Tally survives in the wild like she read in the book and enjoys nature like never before. She even climbs a mountain. The train tracks have a large gap in a chasm, so she takes her hoverboard and makes a big jump, causing the board to shut down. Tally starts falling fast, but right before she hits the ground, the hoverboard activates again, and she lands on the other side of the chasm. Now, she needs to wait in a field of flowers as the instructions said. Meanwhile, Cable brings Paris to her office, revealing that he went to Tally's dorm the other night because she asked him to. Paris admits it felt good to be in the city again, as if he could think clearly. Then Cable announces that a few have been chosen for a new procedure, and Paris agrees to enter the surgery machine for body enhancements. That night Tally wakes up coughing from smoke. She sees that the field is on fire and doesn't know what to do, but suddenly, a mysterious person picks her up and carries her away. It's David, who starts scanning Tally and her things for trackers. He finds one inside the hoverboard and removes it, but his scanner doesn't detect the necklace. At the same time, Cable's men receive an alert that the tracker was removed, and she sends people to search the area. In the morning, David and Tally make it to a smoke outpost, where Tally gets to reunite with Shay. Shay is excited to see her, but Croy is suspicious. The group camps for the night, and Shay asks about the necklace, so Tally pretends it was a gift from Paris. Tally is surprised to see Shay happy after what Cable said and tries to express her worries, making Shay think Tally came to convince her to return. They argue, and Tally decides to give the smoke a chance. The next day, Tally learns that the smoke starts fires on purpose to burn the orchids because they are actually toxic and destroy the land they grow on. Tally doesn't believe him, saying the orchids were the solution for clean energy, but David explains that's a government lie and that the flowers are turning the planet into a wasteland. He wants Tally to join their mission to prove it. Croy protests, but Shay defends Tally. The group has an old helicopter that they fixed with solar panels, and they go on a flight. Now Tally can see the area where the orchids used to grow, which is just desert. Using a flamethrower, Shay burns as many orchids as possible. At that moment, Croy's tablet detects someone approaching, so David lowers the helicopter to hide in the smoke. In the movement, the rope holding Shay loosens, and she falls. Cable scouts are getting closer, so Tally ties a bag onto the rope for weight and throws it off before using it to climb down. The helicopter starts to lose lift while Tally searches for Shay among the flames. Luckily, she finds her, and when a scout tries to get closer, Tally grabs the burning bag and throws it at the scout. Then, the girls hold onto the rope, and the helicopter flies away just before a scout can jump on. After the group lands, Croy points out that the scouts could only find them because of Tally, but Shay defends her, and David thinks anyone who risks their life for the smoke deserves a chance. The group camps for the night, but Tally can't sleep because she keeps thinking of Cable and how she trained her to manipulate the rebels. She leaves the tent for a walk and finds David bathing in the river, so she quickly returns to the tent to hide her embarrassment. The next day, Tally is blindfolded and finally taken to the smoke, where a whole community is thriving in nature. Tally thinks it is harder than in the city, but admits food tastes better when you grow it yourself. Everyone must work, including the elderly, and there is no money, so things are shared or traded. Most importantly, everyone is there by choice. They recycle train tracks to make tools, but they don't make weapons because they are pacifists. One afternoon, Tally finds a strange door and peeks inside, but Croy catches her and sends her away. Tally starts using tools to help with the train tracks and tastes spicy food for the first time, sharing dances around the fire with everyone. Later, David teaches Tally how to use a hunting crossbow, and they enjoy each other's company. It takes her a few tries, but she eventually hits the practice target. On their way back, David reveals he has never seen the city because he was born in the wild and grew up with his family. Tally is shocked by this because she barely knew her own parents. Then, David gives her a pair of gloves. At that moment, a member of the Smoke returns from burning orchids with an injury, saying that the scouts are still around and that they were faster and stronger than normal. Afterwards, Shay notices Tally wearing the gloves and points out that it's a big deal. Objects have different values there, and David made those gloves, so giving them to Tally means he likes her. Shay tells Tally to make her choice already and stop playing with David. The next time Tally goes for a walk with David, she mentions she heard rumors about a weapon that could destroy the city, so David takes her to a house far from camp. There, she meets David's parents, AZ and Maddie, who guard all the books. They used to be cosmetic surgeons for the government but grew suspicious of certain tests and began investigating. They discovered that the physical changes were just a cover and that people's brains were also altered. Becoming a pretty means being less smart and slower while under a fake sense of happiness, making it easier for the state to control them. The operation has also killed many people, which they kept secret. When Cable realized AZ and Maddie knew the truth, she stole all their research. People working for the government were given a cure to think clearly while on the job, so David's parents decided to escape the city and grow old naturally in the woods. They have been looking for a way to recreate the cure but are missing a synthetic component, so they only have a base serum. This serum is the so-called weapon that could destroy the city. After their meeting, Tally throws her necklace into the fire, deciding to stay with the Smoke. She then tries to tell David that she has done terrible things, but he doesn't mind because she is a new person now, and they share a kiss. The necklace sparks in the fire. The next morning, city aircraft arrive at the Smoke and begin shooting. Everyone panics and runs away. The scouts chase them but fall for traps like nets and logs. However, they are too fast and strong, so the traps aren't enough to stop them. Soon, they are capturing every rebel in their path, including Shay. Tally finds a hiding place with David, who wants to go out to help, but she stops him because they are too strong. The duo sneaks to where they are gathering prisoners, and Tally is heartbroken to find that Paris has become a scout. AZ and Maddie are captured at the same time that Cable arrives and demands to know where David is. The parents refuse to talk, so Cable orders Paris to kill AZ. David and Tally run out to stop him, but it's too late. Then, Cable tells everyone that Tally has been working for her, and now the members of the Smoke hate her. While everyone is distracted, Maddie secretly hides the serum in David's pocket. As Cable announces that everyone will receive the surgery, Tally runs to the supply shack and starts a fire. She grabs a crossbow and escapes through the window as a scout tries to break in. Suddenly, the fire causes an explosion, throwing the scout back and allowing David to flee. A scout pursues him, but Tally stops the scout with an arrow. Paris wants to join the chase, but Cable announces that they are leaving. Some scouts destroy Maddie's research and set the area on fire while the others force the prisoners into the aircraft. After they leave, David gathers supplies for a rescue mission. Tally tries to approach him, and he attacks her with a knife but stops himself just in time. She tells him she wants to help rescue the others, and he replies that he doesn't trust her anymore, but Tally argues that he needs her because he's never been to the city. Later, in the city, Tally goes to the students who read Shay's book and introduces them to David to prove that the Smoke is real. Tally borrows an interface ring from them and asks them to gather lots of kids to create a distraction. Soon, many teenagers write "The Smoke Lives" in the sky using their hoverboards. Meanwhile, David and Tally wait for the aircraft to leave the clinic and enter using their hoverboards as well. They go through the aircraft tunnel and land safely thanks to the bungee vests. They sneak around carefully, but when Tally uses the ring to hack a lock, she discovers that they are not just in a kitchen, and it doesn't work. Suddenly, a pretty opens the door, and David immediately starts fighting him. They exchange blows, but David overpowers him and holds him against the wall. Tally quickly takes his ring. Then David pushes him into the corridor, and Tally locks the door. As alarms sound, they find the cell and use the ring to set everyone free. Tally realizes Shay is missing, and Croy reveals that she has already had the surgery. While most of the group escapes, David, Tally, and Maddie try to find Shay, but when they reach the lab, it's too late. She's already a pretty. Tally cries and apologizes, but Shay swears she loves it. Just then, Cable and Paris arrive and force the trio into the machines to finally get the surgery. The process starts, but before the needles can cut her, the Smoke's helicopter appears outside, and Croy opens fire with a flamethrower. Cable and Paris are forced to run away, damaging the machines and causing the operation to stop. The trio exits and Tally grabs Shay while Maddie takes the component she needs from a cupboard. They run to the roof and find Paris. Tally tries to make him see reason by using their nicknames and reminding him that the piece of glass gave him back his scar. Paris gently touches Tally's face, and David thinks it's an attack, so he tackles Paris and tries to fight him. Paris is too strong and continues to hit David, but before he can seriously hurt him, Tally uses a hoverboard to rush in and tackles Paris, causing him to fall off the edge. He clings to the edge for a moment and calls her nickname before falling into a waterfall. Afterward, the group escapes on hoverboards and sees the other teens crashing the drones against each other in the sky. They hide in the abandoned city, and Maddie takes the serum from David's pocket to finish mixing the cure. However, she can't be sure if it will work or if there will be bad side effects for the brain. Shay refuses to take it and doesn't want to force anyone. Tally volunteers to be the test subject. She plans to turn herself in and let them perform the surgery so she can take the cure afterward, promising to signal them to let them know if it worked. The aircraft and Cable are on their way, so after saying goodbye, the group runs away while Tally allows the scouts to arrest her. Later, Tally is a perfect pretty living in a fancy apartment. She swears she loves being like this, but the scar on her hand shows that she is still herself and lying as a spy.